If growing a business is what capitalism is really all about, then these Korean shipbuilders sure have their heads screwed on. Here, mind and body are getting ready for another day of very heavy lifting. When the whistle blows, the 5 biggest shipyards in the world, all Korean, come alive. Roadways between workshops become shipping lanes as ship sections bigger than a block of flats sail by. Big, isn't it? Now have a look at the rudder. It's massive. And that's not all of it. There are 3 ships abreast here. And that's only part of the truth. Have a look at this site from up high, looking down. There are 5 here at once. Now, I doubt that you'll believe what I'm about to say. 30 years ago, this country was producing little but rice. Nowadays, it's producing more than 200 of these each year.
When I first came to this site in the late 1970s, it was a fishing village, and behind it were vegetable patches and rice paddies. When Daewoo decided to get into shipbuilding 30 years ago, they hired an engineer, Peter Bartholomew, to design their yard from scratch. And Peter's been in love with Korea ever since. Where did these people get the guts to put the billions of dollars into an investment like this? Koreans, I think, culturally to begin with, are risk takers. They like to take a chance on something that they think is going to work. The mentality is based on Confucian ethic, which puts education at the absolute top of the scale and hard-working work ethic also at the top of the scale. It is considered a shame in this society. It is absolutely shameful to be unemployed and uneducated. Korea's stock in trade. Last year, they overtook Japan. They're now the world's leader. They built 271 ships last year, and that means a new one floated off the production line on average every day and a half. This year, they'll do considerably better too. You know what one of their big incentives was? If those bloody island people next door to us, that's the Japanese, if they can succeed in this, there's no reason in the world we can't. We're better than they are. And there was this enormous drive and will to succeed. One engineer calls it Nike country because they just do it. Hyundai is the biggest of the big and right now has 300 ships somewhere between design and delivery. Look at this container ship. It's so big you could play Aussie rules and rugby league simultaneously. And they have another on the drawing board that's 25% bigger than this.
The value is 20 billion US dollars.
You've got $20 billion worth of ships waiting to be built.
Yeah. That's nearly 3 years work.
Korea's achievements are all the more mind-boggling when you consider the handicaps. 40 years of Japanese occupation, followed by the Korean War. Russia and China and the North against the South, backed by the US, Australia. Australia plays a part in Korea's success story, but it's the ultimate bit part. As their shipyards have exploded, ours have all but disappeared. But at least we supply the iron ore so they can make their own steel. Now, I've learned a little bit about the shipping industry over the last few weeks. A $100 million ship has $20 million worth of steel in it. How much is the iron ore that goes into that worth?
On a large tanker, that ship will have about 30,000 tonnes of steel in it. And on the basis that good quality Australian iron ore, you only need a couple of tonnes of it to make a tonne of steel. That means you've got about 60,000 tonnes of iron ore going into one of those ships. That's about $3.5 million US into the Australian economy needed by the steel mill to make the ship that makes that ship that then goes down to Australia to carry the iron ore out again.
We're not adding much value in Australia, are
The
we?
money they make goes back to make more money. It goes really back into the core of the shipyard.
That's sort of perfect capitalism in the theory, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if it's perfect, but it sure works.